Hello everybody, my name is Kiki and today I'm going to be showing you all the fursuits I've made. I thought this would be a fun video idea to get started with long videos on YouTube. And because I am already dying in here, let's get started. So since about 2018 I've made about 32 fursuits. We started off in 2018 with Kiki 1.0. Now she was my first ever fursuit I made. I did a lot of research on how to make fursuits before even attempting to make this one. I was very, don't get me wrong, I was very proud of this suit, but looking back at it now, there are many problems. For one, I made the eye blinks out of cardboard and they have died since from getting wet and just misuse of the fursuit. But I mean, for a first fursuit, it's not too bad. I definitely was a bit ambitious, I might say, in making a full digi suit on my first ever go, but the design was pretty simple. Kiki looks a lot different now. This is what she looks like now. But yeah, I really loved her and I just kind of dressed up and went to comic conventions and just really, yeah, it was really fun. Shortly after, I made my first ever pre-made, this wolf character. I was really happy with the look of this one. It had this really cool sort of angry expression and I really liked that sort of style. I never really went back to that kind of style, but it was cool, I learned a lot through making the foam base with that one. The next one was a red panda. I really liked the colours and the fur markings were a bit of a challenge. I also ended up selling this one to a friend. The next fursuit I made was just a head. It was this experimental piece. Very dodgy, but very cool. I loved the teeth and the eyes on this one. I did make my biggest mistake in fursuit making though. It had an asymmetrical pattern and I forgot to flip the pieces after I made the pattern. So they didn't end up fitting onto the base very well, so I just had to kind of make do. It was a good learning experience. My next suit was Kiki 2.0. I learned a lot through the past few suits I made and decided to give Kiki another crack. Now, I'm not sure if I like this one better, but I know it definitely looks more like a fox and less like a mouse. So I was pretty happy with it. After Kiki 2.0, I didn't really make another suit for a couple months. I decided to improve my textile. There you go. Anyway, after a few months of just kind of learning how to sew and doing a textiles class, I became more confident in my sewing skills and decided to give it another crack. Now for a high school art project, I decided to make Mia. She was my second ever digi full suit that I'd made and I was very ambitious with the design of this one. All of those circles are hand sewn together and I never want to see another circle ever again. I decided, no, that's it. I'm never sewing another circle. I was wrong, but ooh, you'd feel the same if you had to sew all of these. So pretty much I gave myself this giant challenge because I had to work on it for a whole year. I learnt so much as I was able to really take my time and work on improving my techniques and just create a work that I was proud of. And from that I was able to create Mia, who I was extremely proud of. I only got to wear her once though because after that lockdown happened, so she just kind of stayed in a box. Now for the same art class, I actually made another fursuit, which was just a mini partial, which is this blue tiger. This is my first ever time experimenting with 3D printed bases and I fell in love. I never wanted to carve another head once I discovered this technique and I was really happy with the result. I ended up selling this one online to my very first international customer. It was really exciting to be able to ship off a fursuit and from that I just fell in love with the idea of creating my own business. Unfortunately, lockdown happened and I became extremely demotivated to do anything, especially considering I was finishing off my high school diploma. So even though I completed the blue tiger suit in 2020, I didn't really do anything else in that year or 2021. 2022 rolled around and something sparked and I was like, you know what? Let's start a fursuit making business. So I bought some fur, got some materials, and I made 3 pre-mades. The first one was this colourful artsy puppy. I have to say I fell in love with this fursuit. I really didn't want to let it go. But then I moved on to the second pre-made. It was a mushroom themed fox. Now I love mushrooms, like as an aesthetic, as you can probably tell. And I really fell in love with this fursuit. With this mushroom and her gorgeous pink hair, I was just, I was inspired. I really, really, really wanted to keep her. But I kept telling myself, no, no, no. You don't need any fursuits. You don't need any more. Next, I made the final pre-made in my grand Kiki Chaos Creations opening, which was this skeleton themed dog. I created it with posable ears and a little mushroom beanie because why not? Mushrooms, they're cool. Now, once I posted and sold these 3 pre-mades, Kiki Chaos Creations was open for business. I opened my commissions and eventually got all 5 commission slots filled. I started out with one of my favourite fursuits still to date, this adorable mushroom canine. I was so ecstatic with how this came out and became really confident in my fursuit making abilities. From there, I've made my first ever bunny fursuit. I was a little bit daunted by the design with all the hearts and the green hair, but overall I was pretty happy with the end result. Next, I decided to make my fursuit Moss. He was a challenge. I decided to make his full suit in just over a week for an upcoming fur meet where I was able to meet lots more people in the community. Now, as I only had a week, there were a few issues with his bodysuit, but I ended up fixing that over time. Little baby. Now next was my first ever kimono style fursuit. This adorable purple cat. I definitely came across a few challenges in creating a kimono style with making the tiny snout and giant eyes. I was pretty happy with the result and did quite a bit of problem solving to get exactly what the customer wanted. Up next is Bunny the dog. This was the first ever commission for a fellow Australian. I was really excited to work with complex airbrushing for the first time with all the spots. I just think he came out so adorable. Almost forgot. I made this really cute pre-made as a 24-hour challenge. I made this head in one really long day and I was in love with the result. She actually recently came back to me for some design alterations and may soon be getting a full suit. Finally, for my first commission batch, I got my first ever plant grade full suit commission. This is another sort of skull dog inspired fursuit where I was able to do these really cool tattoos along the arms, as well as posable ears and really cool face markings. Moving right along to my second commission batch, one of my close friends, Riverlight, commissioned me for a full digisuit. I was definitely daunted by this one, especially by all the spots, and I was really glad he was able to come into my studio to get all the right fittings. I learned so much just from having him there. Up next, another friend of mine, Pepperoni, got her full suit. This is my first ever dragon fursuit. I was really able to experiment with this design, having pockets in the bodysuit, posable horns, and adorable wings. Up next is Rue, this suit. I initially made her as a pre-made, as I usually do, and decided to keep her. I really loved experimenting with the 2D eye style and just thought she was the cutest little thing. Her head is really small compared to my other suits, but I really like how it works proportionately with just as a partial. Up next, I made Talon Hyena. This was my first ever hyena fursuit, and I got to work with more of a masculine head shape. Jace the German Shepherd is a trans-themed doggo. With this suit, I was able to make really cool magnetic eyebrows which allowed for different eyebrow shapes and different emotions. Cobra Wolf! I was able to experiment with having a much larger muzzle and much more masculine head shape. Next up is a commission for Jelly. I fell in love with this character. He is a zombie tanuki. Paws had finger escapes, had a wig as well as magnetic mushroom or sprout. And let's just talk about that ginormous tail. That thing was huge, but so much fun to wear. Chrono Wolf with angry 2D eyes. I used a new mesh for this fursuit and the colours just popped so much. I've never looked back. Up next we have the adorable Malamute Cyril. Now this doggo is just friend-shaped. Just absolutely friend-shaped. With big puffy paws, curly tail, and just overall fluffy cuteness. I really enjoyed working on this suit. Next, I made 2 pre-mades for my first ever furry convention, Fursuit. The first one was this really cool angry dog with a giant mohawk. Really excited with the colour scheme of this one and really wanted to make another 2DI style suit. And secondly, I hopped on the bandwagon and made a bluey fursuit. I was so happy with how she came out. Using the same base as Rue, she had a small fit, but had a zipper in the back, so it was comfortable for lots of people to wear. Luckily, both of these sold at the con and I was ecstatic. Next we have Benny, the dingo. Throughout making this, I decided this is it. This is the male canine base I want to use from now on, because I just loved how it was turning out and the end design was just what I was hoping. And next, my latest commission, Shyla the cow. I was really keen to make a cow fursuit, and oh my gosh, she turned out so cute. She has a removable wig which has different height options to allow for different hairstyles, adorable hoof paws as well as feet and arm sleeves. Next, I made two pre-mades for Aurora, my local Sydney convention. First, I made this adorable rosy dog, and then a blue dragon, which unfortunately didn't sell at the con, but sold shortly after on Dealer's Den. Finally, I have a secret project, which will be revealed very soon, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you so much for those who have made it this far. I know it's been a long video, but I just really wanted to show off all of the fursuits I've made. I might do another video in a year or so just to recap all the suits I've made since now. Let me know what you guys thought of this video and if you'd like to see more from me. I'd really love to create more content for you guys. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Bye bye!